Afternoon, everybody. Here is the recording that I make due to completing the final exam for applied linguistics subject from Professor Dr. Sondang Manik M. Hum. My topic is talking about forensic linguistics. So first, I want to explain what is the definitions of forensic linguistics. Yeah. Forensic linguistics is the applications of linguistics knowledge, methods, and insights to the forensic context of law, language, crime, investigations, trial, and judicial procedures. It is the definition is taken from the Wikipedia, and we can see another explanations about what is forensic linguistics is. There are four definitions that I make here. The first one, it is a branch of applied linguistics. And the second is forensic linguistics is the applications of the linguistics to the legal methods. And the third one is forensic linguistics is based on study, understanding, and use of the language for forensic purposes. And the fourth one is an expert's opinion is called on whether linguistic knowledge can assist the judge and jury in a particular case. So here are some definitions of forensic linguistics. And we can see a deep understanding about forensic linguistics here. Based on also in 2008, the interface between language, crime, and law. And according to Coulthard and Johnson in 2010, argue that the linguists as expert in the legal process make an important contribution to the presentations of evidence. And an expert opinion is called on where linguistic knowledge can assist the judge and jury in a particular case. And also, it is capable to provide expert evidence on language for police investigations or court hearings. And also we can see another definitions about forensic linguistics here. The function is to examine courtrooms, particularly criminal ones, by analyzing talk from lawyers and witnesses. Forensic linguistics work in the justice system, and some of the difficulties that linguists and lawyers may have in understanding each other viewpoints. Now we move on to the brief history of forensic linguistics. As we can see here, forensic linguistics is relatively new discipline to the arena. Fingerprint identification and shoeprint analysis are much older. Early applications of forensic linguistics in the United States related to the status of trademarks as words or phrases in the language. In McDonald, the attachment of the ME prefix to unprotected words had been originated. It was popularized and legitimized during the Unbomber case in the 70s in the United States. And actually in Australia, linguistics began meeting in the 1980s to talk about applications of linguistics and sociolinguistics to the legal process. In particular, difficulties faced by Aboriginal suspects when being questioned by the police. So here is the brief history of forensic linguistics. And now let's move on to the border of forensic linguistics. Yes, you can see here, there are some borders of forensic linguistics start from phonetics, phonology, semantics, morphology, syntax, and discourse analysis. Besides that, we have another border of forensic linguistics, something like pragmatics, neurolinguistics, dialectology, psycholinguistics, sociolinguistics, and computational linguistics. So here is some borders of forensic linguistics. Next, application and branches of forensic linguistics. So here are some branches of forensic linguistics. As you can see here, there are 4 branches of forensic linguistics. The first one is sexual offenses, and the second one is citizens emergency calls. The third one is witness and suspects in interviews, and the fourth one is policy interviews and in judicial process. So here are the branches of forensic linguistics that cover forensic linguistics itself. Now let's discuss it one by one. Started from sexual offenses. The types is rape, child abuse, like grooming, and also verbal harassments. Verbal harassment, something like comments, embarrassing questions, employment condition, and sexual favors. And the third one is policy photograph offenders when they register. So here is the context of sexual offenses. Now let's move on to the second one about citizens emergency calls. It is about the information provided in them belongs to the field of forensic linguistics. Assessment about the incidents, something like urgently, seriousness, potential criminality, and calls for police assistance play a significant role here. And we go on to point number 3, witness and suspects in interviews. There are 3 major aspects. The first one is to identify the criminal, and the second one to locate and apprehend him and to prove his guilt in a court. So in context of witness and suspects, the function of forensic linguistics here to prove whether someone is guilty in a court. So the tools that are needed here is something like instrumentations, information, and interview and interrogations. And for number 4 is the context policy interviews in the judicial process. Okay, it is related to the formal interview is a key part of any investigations. So in investigations, should be the interview should be in a formal, and the interview has a significant function as a piece of evidence exhibited and presented in the court. So the function of interview here is become a significant piece of evidence. And words spoken have a dual context and a dual functions. Forensic linguistics is applied in these different areas. Yeah. The first one is law language and judicial procedure language and linguistic evidence in judicial procedure. Use of linguistic evidence in legal proceedings. Something like odor identifications, forensics, stylistics, discourse analysis, linguistic dialectology, forensic phonetics, forensic transcription, and variation. Some of this we have discussed in a previous slide before. Now, areas, we talk about areas related to forensic linguistics. The first one is document examination. The overlap that exists between linguistics and document examination provide useful double coverage of stylistic makers in punctuations, spelling, abbreviation, and terms of dates. And the next one is software forensic. And The next one is semiotics, and the last one is plagiarism detections. You can see the clear explanation about the areas related to forensic linguistics in this slide. Forensic text types that talking in a forensic linguistics related to emergency calls, ransom demands, and other threat texts, suicide letters, final death row statements, confessions, and denials by public persons. So here is belongs to forensic text types. Now let's talk about some of the journal about forensic linguistics. I just took three journals discuss about forensic linguistics. The first journal is using word and grams to identify authors and dialects, a corpus approach to forensic linguistic problems. It is written by David Wright. And the second journal is the title here, Forensic Linguistics, an overview of the intersections and interaction of language and law. It is written by Maite Korea. And the third one is the synthesis and on-field testing of a novel low-cost latent fingerprint development folders. It is written by Gurpreet Singh Suri and Muhammad Al-Swadi. So here is some journals discuss about forensic linguistics. Actually, when I tried to search in the internet, there are a lot of, or I can say that hundreds of, or even millions of journals discuss about forensic linguistics. But I just took this three one, the most popular one, and the next one we discuss about forensic linguistics work field expert witnesses. Even in Indonesia, we ever did this by Prof. Dr. Bambang Keswanti Purwo is one of the 16 expert witnesses in Basuki Cahaya Purnama, or as we know him as called as Ahok in 2017. And also he is a professor in Atmajaya University, Jakarta. And then Professor Dr. Bambang is looking at how Ahok's statement on his speech in Pramuka Island correlating with Almeida 51 and blasphemy. So at the time, Professor Dr. Bambang Keswati Purwo as a witnesses and also become a forensic linguistic to solve the case. In overseas, for example, forensic linguistics work field, let's say, for example, in FBI, according to FBI official YouTube channel, with forensic linguistics could become language analyst. Language analysts use their linguistic knowledge to work with a team to defend the country agents from counterintelligence threats, case of corruptions, espionage, cybercrime, and other unlawful offenses. So here are some cases that need forensic linguistics in work in some fields, according to FBI. So in the previous slide, I have taught you about the brief history about forensic linguistics. We know that forensic linguistics popular after Unbomber case. Yes, it is a famous case at that time. Unbomber and his manifesto in industrial society and its future, and also the second case, it is Anders Behring Breivik. So these two persons are in the case that made by these two persons make forensic linguistics becomes popular at that time until this present time. All right, that is the explanations, and that is some ideas that I can share to all of you about forensic linguistics based on the explanation that I delivered just now. I just want to give 3 questions that most common questions talking about forensic linguistics. So here is the 3 questions. The first one is, what are 4 areas of forensic linguistics? The second one, what is the purpose of forensic linguistics? And the third one is, what linguistic approaches that can be applied for forensic linguistics? Okay, probably you can get the answer from my explanations before. Okay, so here is the mind mapping of forensic linguistics. Yeah, you can see here. Forensic linguistic studies focus on the forensic linguistic studies. They divided into 3 parts, main parts. The first one is language in legal products, language in courts, language as evidence. And these 3 parts related to the written production and oral production. As written here, it is related to authorship, discourse analysis, language structure analysis, linguistic proficiency. For oral productions related to language honesty, language styles of forensic phonetics, and dialectology. So here is the mind mapping for forensic linguistics. And the last one, the conclusions. The conclusions that I can make from the explanations of forensic linguistics. Science is becoming increasingly important in relation to the law, and forensic linguistics is one area where research is leading to advances that are increasingly used to solve crimes. As mentioned by Art and Humanities Research Council in 2009. The present study explores the discipline of forensic linguistics and use of linguistic evidence in legal proceedings. A section and a forensic application of descriptive linguistics and areas related to forensic linguistics are included. And the article concludes with linguistic and lawyers' interactions. The article concludes by suggesting that lawyers and linguistics work more closely with each other and lawyers in interest of justice. All right, I think that is all my explanations about forensic linguistics. So here are some references that I look up to when I try to explain the forensic linguistics here. Okay, I think that's all my presentations about forensic linguistics. I hope you can get something important and knowledge from my explanations. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for my professor, Dr. Sondang Manik, for this chance, especially in completing the final exam of applied linguistics subjects. God bless you.